When you read PG Sebastian's work, there's this recurring idea, isn't there? It's about the quiet power of a woman who loves well. It's this incredible strength. It doesn't need shouting about, but you feel it, like a gravitational force holding things together.
Absolutely. And that perfectly sets up what we're diving into today.
Hmm.
We're looking beyond just the initial spark, aren't we? We're really getting into the principles that make a relationship last long term. Specifically, drawing from PG Sebastian's insights on, well, holding and honoring a good woman.
And there's a critical shift Sebastian pushes for right from the start. It's moving away from that whole performance thing, how do I impress her, towards something much deeper, towards how do I actually honor her. The real goal, according to PG's work, is building a connection that's so safe, so respectful, that she keeps choosing to be there freely without having to shrink herself down.
It's interesting because in the Steps to Forever approach, those big splashy gestures you see everywhere, they're secondary. Sebastian is really clear on this. Flowers are nice, trips are great, but they don't sustain things. What does is building an environment of emotional safety.
Okay, but let's break that down. Emotional safety. It can sound a bit abstract. What does it actually look like day to day? What's the real difference between that safety and, well, instability?
Well, Sebastian defines instability as that feeling of always having to be on guard.
Hmm.
You know, so safety is the opposite. It's consistently removing the need for that guard. It means the partnership consistently respects her thoughts, validates her spirit. It's like a guarantee that her anger, joy, tiredness, ambition, all of it has room to breathe without fearing judgment or dismissal.
Or, as he points out, fearing it'll be used against her later. That weaponization.
Exactly. It's the absence of those emotional landmines. It means when she brings up a need, she doesn't immediately have to launch into a defense of why that need is valid.
Right. And that connects directly to how a man handles her success, her power, what Sebastian sometimes calls her radiance.
Yes. And what's fascinating there is that a truly good man in this framework doesn't feel threatened by her brilliance. He doesn't need to compete with it or sort of control it.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't try to outshine her. Sebastian says he sees her strength not as a problem, but as a resource for the whole partnership. So instead of managing her, he becomes the kind of partner who quietly, steadily nurtures that strength, like being the solid ground that lets her light shine brighter, not the shade trying to dim it.
And if you think about that practically, nurturing her strength means, actually asking about her goals. Even if they might sometimes feel inconvenient to his own comfort zone, it means celebrating her wins without immediately tacking on, okay, but what does this mean for us?
Hmm.
It's that constant, often unspoken support system that lets her take risks, knowing she has that solid home base.
But keeping that environment alive takes active work every day. And Sebastian argues that work is measured in attention, that unspoken language. He says a man holds on to a good woman by paying really close attention to the subtle stuff, the details most people overlook.
Yeah, the things that easily get lost when complacency sets in. And we're not just talking about remembering anniversaries here, are we? Sebastian means noticing the shift in her tone when she's just bone-tired, or picking up on that slight withdrawal when something's bruised her feelings. It's seeing how she keeps giving, even when she's running on empty, often because she prioritizes the Essie over her own need for rest.
Okay, but here's a potential pitfall. How do you give that loving attention without, overanalyzing every little thing? Where's the line between being attentive and becoming obsessive?
Sebastian draws a very clear line there. He learns to read her, yes, but not because he's trying to fix her every mood or solve every problem instantly. That can actually feel like a kind of control, can't it? He does it simply because he genuinely values what's going on beneath the surface. He respects her inner world.
Okay, here's a moment to pause and reflect, directly for you listening, drawing from PG's thoughts on communication. When she shows vulnerability, how do you respond? Is it with those quick, shallow reassurances, the don't worry about it, it'll be fine kind of thing? Or are you speaking in a way that truly affirms her reality, her effort, her actual being?
That affirmation,
Hmm.
that's the difference between honoring someone and just managing them. When you affirm her reality, you're telling her she's not invisible. You're showing her that her emotions aren't inconvenient and her needs aren't a burden. You're honoring the work she does, even if that work is just holding herself together after a tough day.
And doing that consistently demands a really solid foundation, doesn't it? Integrity, steadiness. Sebastian often seems skeptical of men who are always trying to prove they're worthy. It feels performative and exhausting.
Exactly. Performative is the perfect word. Worthiness, in his view, is shown quietly. It's built through integrity, maturity, and just a genuine, reliable steadiness. It's that quiet confidence she feels, knowing she can lean on him without fearing he'll crumble emotionally or morally. Steadiness isn't boring. It's that profound reliability that actually lets her relax into her own life.
Sebastian pushes communication further too. He talks about listening beyond just the words, listening to the silences. And when something difficult comes up, responding not with that immediate defensiveness, but with an understanding that acknowledges the weight of her feelings, even if the logic isn't immediately clear to him.
And that's where conflict actually becomes this incredible opportunity for trust building. It's a crucial insight Sebastian highlights. A good man doesn't turn disagreements into battles. He doesn't just shut down or walk away when things feel uncomfortable. He stays present with her, especially, as PG puts it, in those fragile, tender, quiet moments where trust is either deepened or slowly eroded.
Right. Retreating erodes trust. Standing firm, being accountable, that deepens it. That difference is so central to PG Sebastian's entire approach.
And it demands emotional accountability, which is a term people often mix up with just, being physically present. Emotional accountability in this context is the polar opposite of stonewalling or avoiding tough conversations or changing the subject when things get real. It's the discipline of owning how your actions and reactions impact the relationship.
That's why that core definition PG Sebastian uses for mature love is so powerful. Love is not a transaction to manage, but a connection to protect. Just that one sentence changes the whole game, doesn't it?
It really does. If you see love as a transaction, you're looking for immediate payback, you're keeping score, you see her expectations as annoying demands. But if you see it as a connection to protect, your focus shifts completely. It becomes about long-term health, mutual care. Her softness, as Sebastian reminds us, isn't weakness. And her expectations aren't just demands. They're often the natural boundaries of her own dignity. And those must be respected for her to thrive.
So he holds on by actively refusing to treat her strength like it's some kind of threat, or her confidence like it's competition. He has to celebrate the whole person she is, the parts that challenge him, the parts that succeed on their own, the parts that need comfort, not just the bits that are easier or convenient for him or fit into some neat little box.
And celebrating all of her, that fullness, leads directly to what Sebastian describes as maybe the highest achievement in a partnership. Becoming someone she can truly, deeply exhale around.
Exhale around. I love that phrasing. It paints such a clear picture. It means the armor can finally come off. She can lower her guard, feel fundamentally safe, without ever feeling like she needs to make herself smaller or quieter just to belong with him.
And that right there is the essence of real loyalty, which, as Sebastian teaches, boils down to being emotionally accountable. So here's another question for you, the listener. Are you maybe confusing just being physically present, being in the same room or the same house with genuine emotional accountability? Because that accountability takes real effort, consistency, and, vulnerability too.
I think the big takeaway here is that love just can't survive on feelings alone. Sentiment isn't enough. You can say, I love you constantly, but if there's no depth behind it, no honesty. If it doesn't have that discipline of showing up well consistently, even when life is hard or inconvenient, it just won't last. The connection phrase.
It needs that consistent, disciplined effort to truly honor her reality. That, more than anything, seems to be what sustains the kind of deep connection Sebastian talks about.
So if we boil down the essence of PG Sebastian's framework, a woman stays, truly stays, where she isn't just loved, but actively cherished, where she isn't just accommodated, but genuinely respected, and maybe most importantly, where she isn't just desired, but deeply emotionally understood.
Which leads beautifully to Sebastian's final thought on the real art of lasting love. It's not about holding someone close through pressure or performance or a sense of obligation, not at all. The art lies in building the kind of connection that constantly, quietly invites her to stay, freely, fully, with real peace in her heart.
And doing that kind of deep, sometimes challenging, reflective work is really what PG Sebastian and the whole Steps to Forever ecosystem are dedicated to. If you want to explore these ideas further, these frameworks for building relationships based on real integrity and emotional safety, we definitely encourage you to check out more Sebastian's materials and insights.
And maybe just take a moment today, really think about it. How can you become that person someone else can truly, fundamentally exhale around? That might just be the most valuable gift you can offer in any relationship.
We'll catch you on